Hi guys. So in this video I'm going to talk about HFT and microwaves, like how microwaves are used in HFT, why they are used. So yeah, before starting the video, actually it's like 2:53 a.m. in India right now, and you might hear a lot of background noise because party is going on in a nearby house. I mean, I live in Gurgaon, so that's like a pretty common thing here. But anyway, so I apologize for the background noise beforehand only. So let's begin. So a while back, there was a blogger named Sniper in Mawa. He actually wrote a six-part series called HFT in My Backyard. So what is this? I mean, so this series actually describes that how microwaves, like the microwave technology, is used in HFT, and it also describes like why it is used and what are the ways in which companies like Optiver, Jump Trading, Flow Traders, DRW are basically using this technology and exploiting it. So yeah, in case you don't know what microwaves are, I mean, if you have physics background, and I mean, the people who have physics background, they might be already aware. But even if you do not have physics background, you can read about it on Google. I mean, I have a link already open. Like, it describes that microwave are the basically waves with frequencies range between 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz with respective wavelengths of 30 to 0.03 centimeter. And if you'll Google, you will also find these wavelength and frequency charts where you can see like what are the wavelength frequency ranges in which microwaves come in. And there are other types of waves as well, like radio waves, infrared, visible, ultraviolet rays, X-ray rays, gamma rays, right? So this is more of a physics concept. So yeah, coming to the original topic. So why this thing, like why microwaves are used? Okay, so the usual problem is that a lot of trading firms, I mean, they do arbitrage. Okay, and what is arbitrage? So you can read about it on this link, Investopedia. So the definition says that it is the simultaneous purchase and sale of the same or similar asset in different markets in order to profit from tiny differences in the asset's listed price. So in case you do not understand what it means, let's look at an example given on Investopedia. So the example is that, let's say there is a company X whose stock is listed both on New York Stock Exchange, which is abbreviated as NYSE, and on London Stock Exchange, which is abbreviated as LSE. So let's say the stock of company X is trading on $20 USD on $20 on NYSE, and it is trading at $20.05 on London Stock Exchange. So what a trader can do, I mean, he can quickly buy the stock at $20 on NYSE and he can sell it on London Stock Exchange, right? So per unit of share, he will make 5 cents of profit, right? So this is what arbitrage is basically. I mean, this is what the definition also said, right? You do a simultaneous purchase and sale of the same or similar asset in different markets, okay, and you profit from the price differences. So this is what arbitrage basically means, and it is a pretty common technique. And again, like, it explains another type of arbitrage, which is basically a triangular arbitrage, which happens in forex market. So you can read this example as well on Investopedia itself. So coming back to this thing, that buying a stock, a particular stock in New York, and then selling it on London, right? Let's say for a automated trading system, it might sound easy, but it is not easy to do, especially when you are trying to make profit. It is in an environment which is highly competitive, like a lot of other traders are also competing against you. It is not very easy to do. And if you have watched my previous videos, so I had explained there that how the infrastructures are usually set up for HFT markets. Okay, so let's take an example here. So let's say this was New York Stock Exchange, okay, or let's say this is so the data center of New York Stock Exchange, it is actually located in New Jersey. It's in a place called Mawa. So let's say that this big block is New Jersey, and inside it, let's say there is the data center of New York Stock Exchange, in which the matching engine of NYSE is deployed. Okay, so let's name this as NYSE matching engine server. Okay, and this is sitting in New Jersey. Yeah, so this outer block denotes New Jersey, this inner block denotes the data center, and this innermost block is the NYSE matching engine server. Okay, so, and then we have similar setup for London Stock Exchange as well. I mean, I do not remember where the London Stock Exchange data center is assembled, but anyways, let's say that uh, this bigger box is London, this inner box is the London data center, and inside it we have the uh, matching engine server of London Stock Exchange, right? Let's say this is LSE matching engine, the inner box. So now let's say the trading company which is trading on NYSE, their trade server or the order entry server, right, their basically exchange connectivity application would also be sitting in the same data center, right? And that is again because in HFT systems, I mean, this is called as that being co-located. You are also, your trade server is also deployed in the same data center in which the matching engine of that exchange is deployed. Okay, so that this actually minimizes the distance between you and the matching engine server, so that your orders can reach quickly to the exchange, and the market data which you are listening to you can also come quickly to it. Because if you are sitting far from the matching engine server, you incorporate a lot of network latency due to that, because the speed at which any signal can travel on a network is limited by the speed of light. And if you are sitting far from an exchange, so you can also imagine like the time to reach there would be distance upon speed. So if your distance, you need to minimize your distance, and that is why to minimize the distance, the trade servers of usually the HFT systems are co-located in the same data center in which the matching engine is deployed. Right now, let's say to do arbitrage, which was explained on in the blog of Investopedia, what you need is that you will have a link, I mean some kind of connection from London Stock Exchange to your trade server, right? Let's denote this connection by this line. So basically because you need to be listening to the market data from London Stock Exchange as well in order to perform arbitrage, in order to see the price differences and take advantage of that on the NYSE exchange. Let's say on LSE you see that price of a particular stock was at $20. So how would you get that information? The market data which is coming from the LSE will tell you that. So you can imagine like the distance here is huge. I mean the distance which a particular packet would need to travel, the market data packet would need to travel from London Stock Exchange matching engine, which is again sitting in it is, I think, let's imagine that it is sitting in London only. So you have to basically travel from London to US, right? You have to reach from London to New Jersey. So how, like what kind of technology is used behind that and all of that? So that is actually described in deeply in this 6-part series by Sniper in Mava called HFT in My Backyard. So the technology used here is usually microwaves. Okay, so what happens that let's take a smaller example first. So let's see this. The thing is that the way the data will reach from London to New York is that it will use both microwave and then, I mean, till some distance the data will travel through microwaves, and after that the data will travel through wire. Okay, so and there are many examples around that. Sometimes to do arbitrage, like the companies, what they are doing is that there is another exchange which is in US only. It is in Chicago. The exchange name is CME, right? I think CME's data center is in Aurora, Illinois. So they might be listening the market data from CME and then placing orders on NYSE. So this example is also described in this HFT in My Backyard blog. So again, you have like cities to cross, because CME data center is in Illinois in Chicago, and NYSE data center is in New Jersey in Mava. So now you can actually connect, I mean a particular trading company, they can have direct cable connections from CME to their trade server in order to listen to market data. But see, the problems around that is that maybe as I mentioned, that you need the shortest distance. I mean the distance which you are traveling for a particular network packet, that should be the shortest distance in order to, so that your packets can reach faster to you. If the distance is large, then the time it would take a packet to reach to you would also be larger. And if, let's say your competitor trading firm, if their distance was smaller as compared to you, then their packet would reach faster to them, and they would be able to take the advantage of that opportunity, right? So if you want to have cable connections, and again the shortest distance between any 2 points is usually a straight line, right? So if you want to have cable connections, maybe there is no due to some infrastructure problems, or due to any reason, I mean maybe the possibility is that the straight line path does not exist, maybe such path does not exist that you can lay out the fiber optical cable in a straight line from a particular exchange's data center to your trade server, right? There might be buildings in between, there might be mountains in between, right? So you will have to take some other part, so distance is getting increased, and in some cases maybe it might not be at all possible to lay out the cables, maybe when you are trying to cross continents, right? In that case maybe it is not possible to lay out cables. So that's why usually the cable possibility is ruled out. I mean they exist, but they are not the they exist as a backup only. The primary technology which is used to transfer data in such cases, like from Chicago's exchange to your New York exchange, would be microwaves. So how microwaves operate, that let me show you that with an example as well. Basically what you have is thing like this. I mean you will have big towers. Okay, on towers you will have these dishes installed. I mean my drawing is pretty bad, but yeah, just try to understand it, that this basically is a tower, and on this tower these circular things denote dishes. So microwave signals are basically transmitted from one dish to another, and I mean let's say you are trying to reach from Chicago to New York, so there might be multiple towers in between, and in between Chicago and New York, and the signals will be transferred from one tower to another until it basically reaches to its destination, right? So microwave technology is used for that, and there are many reasons behind it. One reason is that you can maybe with microwaves there might be a possibility that you can have a straight line path between 2 points, right? And in that case, if you have a straight line path, you will minimize the distance and your data will reach faster. In some cases it is not at all possible to maybe lay out the cables because of some infrastructure problems, maybe buildings are in between or something, right? So in that case also you can use microwaves. You can install huge towers so that they bypass the heights of buildings, and the dishes installed on them can communicate with each other, can basically reflect the signals which they are receiving. And again, when you are trying to cross continents, or not continents, let's say countries, microwaves again can be a good option in that as well. So lot of companies, I mean in HFT this technology is used very widely, and it is also described in this HFT in my backyard series. Like this is a paragraph which it mentions that in the US the New York Stock Exchange is currently located in Mahwah, which I mentioned to you, which is in New Jersey. And again at NYSE the co-located traders meet in a data center, and microwave paths converge on the roof. So basically on the roof of the data center these microwave paths converge. And in Europe there are two main data centers, in England near London, one to the east in Basildon, which is the NYSE facility housing the Euronext and Life exchange. So Euronext and Life are two very major exchanges of Europe, plus there is Goldman Sachs Darkpool Sigma X, and then there is one to the west in Slough, the LD4 data center, which basically contains the BATS exchange, which is again a very major exchange. And Frankfurt is home to the Equinix FR2 data center, which hosts the Deutsche Börse and Eurex. Again, Eurex is also a very major exchange of Europe. Okay, so it also describes these microwave paths for different companies which are laid out. I mean, this blog has actually made a map around them, and this blog also describes that they are basically the major, companies who have established their own microwave paths are, one is Chicago-based Jump Trading, then there is Optiver and Flow Trader, DRW is also there. Then I mean not every HFT is able to basically rent out towers, install dishes on them, and construct their own microwave paths. So there are some other providers as well, network providers like McKay Brothers and Custom Connect, and some companies use their facilities. Okay, I mean this blog claims that a very major HFT known as Virtue Finance, they use the McKay Brothers facility. Again, this is claimed by this blog. This is not my opinion or view. So yeah, and now the thing is that let's look at a couple of more things. So again, installing these microwave and these things are not very simple. So the problems, like one simple problem is that see, Earth's curvature is actually, it is not flat, it is kind of a curve, right? This is a Earth's curvature. So one thing which you should be aware about that is that, you know, your towers should be very huge, because let's say you have small towers. Let's say this was your tower, and then there is another tower here. You have a dish installed here on top of it, and you have a dish installed here on top of it. So when they are trying to communicate, the microwave signal won't pass because it would strike to the surface of the earth. And you know, with microwaves, the problem is that there should be no obstacle in between, because if there is even a leaf or a tree in between, the network would be lost. And therefore microwaves also does not work in bad weather conditions, like when you have fogs, rain and those things, a lot of cloudy conditions as well. So therefore the fiber optic cables are used as a backup there. So one problem is this, that you know, the curvature of earth is one problem. So that's why you need to make sure that you rent, or you know, if you are buying your own towers, installing your own towers, they are very huge, so that they can bypass this curvature of earth. Okay, so this is one of the things which you should make sure, that try to have huge towers. And with huge towers, the problem is, let's say when a company is trying to rent out a huge tower, they might incur more cost. Okay, so this blog also describes about this as well, like why huge towers are required and all of that. Then there are a lot of other things as well. I mean, this is a 6-part series. I mean, I think in one of its part it claims that, you know, among these microwave networks as well, like who is the fastest, who is the slowest. I mean, this blog claims that Optiver is one of the fastest. Again, the data of this blog is a bit old, so maybe this information might not be true now, that Optiver is still the fastest in microwave infrastructure as well, but at least this blog claims that it was faster at a point in time. Okay, and there are, I think, other things related as well. Like one thing is this, that you know, now again, some companies like Mackay Brothers, they are only interested in the microwave path which exists just inside Europe, which is in from Frankfurt to London. But some companies like Optiver, Flow Traders, Jump, they are actually sending the data of Europe to US as well. So within Europe, they will be using microwave, but let's say from when they want to go to Europe to US, let's say they want to, you know, send the data of a particular data center which is in Frankfurt to US. So from Frankfurt, they will have to reach to this point in England, which is in White Sand Band, Cornwall, England. Okay, once they have reached here, and from Frankfurt to Cornwall, they will reach via microwaves. But now from Cornwall to US, they will be going through a cable. Now there is this Atlantic Crossing 1 cable, which I think everyone uses who wants to, you know, go to from Europe to US. And in case you do not know about what this Atlantic cable crossing 1 cable is, so you can just Google about it. So this is actually a cable which is laid down beneath the seabed. So I think you will also find a couple of images around it. Let me actually find one image. So basically this cable is a 14,000 kilometer trans cable which is laid I think beneath the oceans and seas. So yeah, again you can find that, but this is basically the way companies cross from Europe to US. So this HFT in my backyard is a very good blog which you should definitely read about. And again, this I think is a AC1 cable which is laid out within the US. So this is around the beach, but if you will, there are also images of it around how it is going inside the ocean and how it is laid out in the ocean. I think this is one of such image which shows that it is laid down on the seabed. These are all such images. So yeah, again, and I think this blog also somewhere mentions that there are, I think in AC1 cable as well, there are 2 cables which are going. I'm not sure if they are just 2 cables, but one of them is a bit slower, one of them carries the information a bit faster. So Optiver, I think they are using the one which is a bit faster, and again, if it is fast, then it is a bit costly as well. So you should definitely read about this, that what microwave technology is and how it is used. I mean, again, as I mentioned, like one of its usages in arbitrage. Basically, you want to exploit the price differences for a particular stock listed on 2 different exchanges. For that, you want to be listening to the market data of one exchange and trying to place order on the other exchange. But the problem is that your trade server is sitting in the data center of one exchange only. For this trade server to listen to market data from any other exchange, which is a bit far away from it, maybe in a different city or maybe in a different continent altogether, it needs some kind of connection between it, and the technology used for that is usually microwaves or a mix of microwave plus fiber optic cables. And with microwaves, whenever you are laying out the network, you need to make sure that your towers are aligned in a straight line and all of that. Basically, you want to make sure that your towers and dishes are aligned such that you are traveling the minimum distance, because if you are traveling a bit longer distance than your competitor, then you will lose the profit because your competitors will be more faster than you. So, and in this blog, like, there are things, this blog, when these 6-part series, when you will read, it's like a kind of a thriller movie with a lot of information. It describes that there was a tower auction which was going on in which jump trading participated, and I think the person who was doing the auction, he thought that maybe the highest price which he would get for their tower would be around some thousands of US dollars, but it went around, jump trading eventually made the deal for around 5 million USD or 5 million euros. I don't exactly remember. So you can see that how fierce the competition is even in the microwave infrastructure. So thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you all next time.